This is a long do-over, but this is where Deku was a werewolf, part 5. Now, last left off for Deku got first place in the sports festival. So we move on to the next day, and pretty much this day is when everybody is, given their hero names. Now, Deku's hero name is a lot more, different. Deku, everybody pretty much says their hero name, but Bakugo actually does get, a pretty decent hero name. Now, guys, at the end of the video, I'll tell you something because I want to turn Bakugo into something not human, but I don't know what. I'm deciding on, making Bakugo a vampire or a werewolf. So go in the comments, have a poll. Most people that comment, vampire or werewolf, pretty much I'll turn Bakugo into a vampire or a werewolf. So it's up to you guys in the comments. Let's get back into the story. So pretty much Deku sees Bakugo, just saying his, King Explosion murder, but he does get, sort of a click in his hand and says, Draken. Deku is confused, and Bakugo says, my name's Draken. And pretty much, Miss Midnight's going like, Draken? Cool, good enough. Better than King Explosion murder. So Deku's hero name is Wolfsbane. Now, guys, you're probably wondering Wolfsbane. That's pretty much, I think that's already taken by a werewolf in some sort of trilogy. Yes, but I don't give a shit. So Deku pretty much just, says his name's Wolfsbane, and pretty much they say that's a pretty good name. It fits their power. So Deku, he's in class, everybody's in class, and the next day we get hit with the scene of the class being told that what was it? I forgot the name of it. The internships. Yes, the internships. Now everybody gets their, original internships. Now Deku's internship is a lot more different. Deku gets called by his dad, by his work, saying that he would want to take in Deku. Deku agrees and goes over to his dad. Deku's dad tells Deku, hello, this is his, pretty much mystical academy. Now, this is pretty much as a place for teenagers around the world that are supernatural. It's a couple of werewolves there, one or two vampires, and also some witches, warlocks, and all sorts of other people. Deku's kind of happy that it's other werewolves here, but Deku's family is, true werewolves because Deku was born a werewolf. The werewolves there were turned. So Deku mostly doesn't feel, that connected towards them. But he does still, feel cool near them because, well, they're werewolves, but not as strong as Deku. So Deku gets trained over the 10 months. Gets trained over, sorry guys. Gets trained over the internships, getting trained how to use his quirk in all sorts of ways. Deku finds out that he can focus his hearing to such an extent that he can home in on somebody's heartbeat, making sure they're lying or not. Deku also can feel the, wild. Deku's father taught Deku to focus all of his strength into his enhanced senses, giving Deku a sixth sense, combining all of his touch, feel, hear, everything. Deku can pretty much feel everything around him by a 10-mile radius. Heat, cold, wind, everything. Deku feels it. One. Deku is extremely happy that he learned all these new tricks and skills. Deku also becomes a lot more stronger because his dad does train him in muscle memory for werewolves. And Deku also does some brawling with the werewolves there, and his father as well. So Deku's let's just do a fight scenario. So Deku was walking down the hall, and he sees a kid with blonde hair with red eyes. Deku stops and says, Bakugo? The kid says, no. Who the hell's Bakugo? Get off of me. Get off of me, you mangy mutt. Deku gets pissed by this and says, what did you say? He said, get off of me, you mangy mutt, and fangs start coming out of his mouth. Deku realizes that this is a vampire, and pretty much just socks him straight in the face, knocking him out cold. Not knowing yet, but his hand's covered in hair. Deku sees his hand in hair or in a wolf transformation state, and pretty much untransforms. Deku walks off, and the vampire gets back up, runs over to Deku, and grabs Deku and chucks him straight into another room. And this is where some of the people there were teaching a couple other students. So they saw the fight going on. Deku's father was called in, the head counselor for the vampires were called in, and pretty much they had to, stop everything out. They had to stop the fight from going any farther. Deku's father had to go full transformation to try to get Deku off of this guy, and pretty much they were just, going at it. So they broke up the fight, and Deku says, who the hell are you? He says, I'm Jack Kotsky. Jack Kotsky? What? And they're probably wondering, what do you mean? This is Bakugo's long lost ancestor. This is Bakugo's ancestor that was turned into a vampire. Now, pretty much his ancestor was born about 562 million years before Bakugo was ever thought of. So Deku said, "What up? You're related to the Kotsky family?" Deku's pretty much he says pretty much that Bakugo's mom has a long lineage of just people, but one of those people in Kotsky's family, one of her distant cousins, were turned into a vampire. Meaning that this vampire can pretty much turn any of his family members or anybody, normally. So, guys, it's more of a reason to vote that Bakugo could become a vampire. So, pretty much, Deku says, so you're a part of the Kotsky family? And the vampire just scoffs and says, leave me the hell alone, and walks off. Deku gets a little pissed, about to get off from his chair, but his dad stops him and says, we need to have a little talk. His dad just scolds Deku and pretty much smacks him across the face and says never to do that again at this school. I love you, kid, but you can't do this. Deku agrees, and he goes back to training. By the end of the, by the end of the place, they go on patrol. By the end of the interships, they go on patrol into the city. They're in the city, and Deku hears something. Deku's father also hears something. Screaming, explosions as well. 2 minutes after he hears the explosion, a huge behemoth of a creature jumps through the bus, or the train they're on, and he starts, tackling people down. Deku transforms into his wolf state. Deku transforms and goes for a slash toward the Nomu, making a huge gash in his chest. Deku grabs the Nomu and chucks him out of the bus hole that he made when he jumped in. Deku jumps out of the hole, and his father follows after Deku. Deku's father's wolf form looks like this. Deku's father, the older the werewolf, the more, terrifying their wolf form is. But Deku's father does basically look like this. This is freaking terrifying. If you see this walking up to you, you're gonna shit your pants. So pretty much Deku sees his father, following after him. And Deku is confused why his father's form is a lot more different than it was last time he transformed in front of him. Deku's father explained that you weren't seeing straight because you were feeling so much pain, and blah blah blah, all that other shit. So they're sprinting on all fours down the street, seeing a couple of pro heroes taking care of some of the Nomus. Some of the pro heroes mistaken Deku and his father as Nomus and about to shoot one of their quirks towards them, but they start talking and say, "What are you doing, you idiot? We're quirk users. We're here to help." Deku's father helps the other pro heroes, but Deku's father soon realizes that Deku is off. Deku did recognize the people that were there that Deku's father was helping, and they were with Ida. Deku's confused because Ida was supposed to, be, with them. Ida did still give Deku the whole entire talk about how his brother got, attacked by the pro hero killer Stain. Deku was running around, and eventually he stopped and just used his, skills. Deku reserves all of his power into his senses, transforming back to normal. Deku pretty much sees through his life and just, sees the patterns and clearings around the city, eventually spotting and locating Ida. Deku sprints over there, immediately getting into the alleyway, seeing Stain about to stab, Ida. Deku pounces on Stain, throwing him into a wall. And Deku isn't, transformed yet. Deku looks at Stain, but Deku feels a huge pain through his body, and Deku says shit, and he forgot that it was a full moon. Since Deku's father is more, trained and has been a werewolf a lot more longer than Deku, Deku's father can, dampen it long enough so he can, find a good place to, transform. Now Deku starts transforming into his giant wolf form, and Stain starts smirking and says, "You're the one that started the trend, huh?" Deku looks at him and sees that Stain is growing hair on his body and starts going on all fours, transforming as well. Deku is confused AF when he realizes one super dramatic stupid thing he did. That he bit Shigaraki on the arm without, killing him. Meaning that Shigaraki was turned into a werewolf. Meaning that scene last time I was saying that Shigaraki was biting the others in the League of Villains. Meaning that everybody in the League of Villains are werewolves now. Deku, and since they're werewolves, all their quirks are also enhanced as well. So Stain transforms into his wolf form and just starts pouncing towards Deku. Deku is transformed already and pounces towards him, and they're having a full-on brawl. I mean. But yeah, Deku pounces towards Stain, and Stain is jumping back and forth away from Deku, jumping back on Deku, clawing him. Deku starts punching and punching and punching, still having that, thing through his mind, saying that how the hell did he turn somebody without even figuring out it. Now, Deku just starts, hitting, sorry guys, Deku starts hitting Stain back and forth, clawing into him, making gashes in his body. Now, Ida's seeing this, trying to get up, but eventually, one of the pro heroes that were running by saw this, and one of these pro heroes wasn't really a pro hero, it was Todoroki. Todoroki saw this and rushed in there, shooting a huge ice ball towards Stain, the red wolf. Because Todoroki did see Deku's, wolf form, and knows that's Deku. Deku jumps away while Todoroki does this attack, sending Stain into a different building. Deku looks at Todoroki and saying that, "Thank you," and more of a, disfigured voice, not really, letting Todoroki understand what he's saying. Deku sprints off, going into the other building that Stain was pushed in by the ice ball, and pretty much pounces on top of him, keeping him down on the ground. Stain gets angry and cuts Deku's face. Well, Deku spits blood, but Stain bites that blood while it's in the air, licking it, paralyzing Deku, transforming Deku back into his human form. Deku's on the floor trying to transform again, but seeing that his eyes are just glowing red and seeing that his veins are just popping out being black. Deku's veins are black now, and they're just, popping out of his body. Deku's trying to transform, but he's going back to his human form. He's basically He's shifting back and forth constantly. Deku's feeling way more pain than he usually should be feeling on a full moon. Feeling like this is going to actually, kill Deku. Now, Stain walks off, and a couple minutes later, Deku breaks out of the shifting and transforms back into his wolf form. Deku, seeing this happening, sprints over to Stain before he has the chance to take down Todoroki, because he has been fighting Todoroki for the past minutes Deku was out. Todoroki's fighting Stain back and forth, throwing fire and fire after fire towards Stain. Stain's dodging all the attacks, about to go for one final huge strike towards Todoroki's face. But Deku jumps in just right at the time Stain was about to, body Todoroki, and pretty much Deku cut Stain straight in the eye, ripping his eye out. Deku growled straight at him, covering up Todoroki. Deku was about to, pounce on him one more time and try to kill him, because Deku was reverting back to his wolf mindset, because the full moon just hit a couple minutes ago, meaning that Deku hasn't really, his mind hasn't transformed into a wolf yet. Deku runs towards Stain, transforming into his wolf primal mindset, cutting and ripping apart Stain. I'm about to kill him, but Todoroki freezes Deku solid, stopping both of them. So the heroes show up, they unmelt Deku after the full moon, because Deku's father did say that his quirk had to do something with the full moon. So Deku reverts back into his human state, and then they melt him out of the ice, saying that Stain also unreverted to his human state, tying up Stain with really tight wires and chains that Deku's father brought, because Deku did tell him before, they tried to, wrap up Stain about how he's a werewolf. Deku has a conversation with his dad, and his dad's explaining to Deku about how the hell did this happen, and how the hell did somebody, a pro-hero, a villain became a werewolf. Deku says, I don't know, but it may have to do something about me. I think I transformed somebody that was at the USJ attack into a werewolf when I was biting them. Deku's father says, what? You have to be more careful. You can't just bite somebody and expect them to just run away. That's a guarantee to turn them into a werewolf. Deku says, I'm sorry, Dad. And pretty much they have a conversation back and forth about how next time you see another, villain that is a werewolf, throw this at them. And Deku's father's wearing a glove. Deku grabs it and his hand burns. Deku says, what is that? And he says, it's liquid wolfsbane. Throw it on them and they'll feel like acids on their face. Then that will give you enough time to knock them out and disabilitate them. Okay, yeah. So Deku takes it and puts it in his pocket, and pretty much after that, everything's sorted out. Everybody goes home after that, and after the internships, everybody goes back to school, telling everybody about their internships and what they did. Bakugo not getting anything done, not excelling in anything, just having the same boring freaking best genius arc. So Deku pretty much looks at Todoroki, and Todoroki looks at Deku. Todoroki walks over to Deku and says, what the hell was that last night? Last time we were, in the city together. Deku says, what do you mean? He says, that Stain guy, he had the exact same quirk as you. Like he was you. Deku grabbed Todoroki, walked into the hallway where no one is, and explained to Todoroki that he's a werewolf. Todoroki starts laughing and says, a werewolf? What am I, 9? Deku pretty much wants to prove it to Todoroki. So after school, Deku goes to the back of the school, telling Todoroki, I can prove it to you. Ask me anything. Todoroki says, okay, transform. Deku transforms, and then Todoroki says, no, you're more a wolf-like state. Deku says, no, I can only transform into that on the full moon. Todoroki's confused, but also getting a little bit of, more trust and kind of believing Deku. But he's saying, do you have any weaknesses to silver? Deku says, yeah. Todoroki says, come to my house. They're walking down, Deku and Todoroki sneak into their house, and Todoroki grabs a silver knife and stabs Deku straight into the chest. Deku yells out in pain, falls onto the ground, screaming, pulling out the silver from his chest. Not missing Deku's heart, but, they had to go to the ER and all that other shit. So next day, Deku tells Todoroki, why did you do that? Todoroki tells Deku, well, I believe you because all the other times you got stabbed or cut, you healed immediately. So Deku pretty much did prove to Todoroki that, he's a werewolf and werewolves are real. Todoroki offered, help Deku out a little bit, but Deku said, no, I'm good, and pretty much walked off. Todoroki smirked at this and said, oh, werewolves. Werewolves are real? This is just the weirdest day ever. So, I'm going to leave it off here, guys. Next time is going to be a lot more, action-packed, because it's going to be the fighting arc between the pro heroes and the students, and in that short amount of time, the next episode or in the forest training arc, I'll find a way to transform Bakugo into whatever you guys put in the comments. So, see you guys later. Bye.